Excellence, President João Lourenço, Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema of Zambia, Your Excellency President Joe Biden of the United States of America, Your Excellency Mr. Mbongo, Vice President of Zambia, distinguished ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Here today at this meeting focused on the development of the Lobito Corridor. This is a project that is full of hope for our countries and our region. I would like to warmly thank President João Lourenço for his leadership and hospitality. The corridor is way more than just a transportation axis. It is a unique opportunity for regional integration, economic transformation, and to improve the living conditions of fellow citizens. This railway that connects the mining regions of the DRC and Zambia to the port of Lobito is conceived in order to transport as much as 20 million metric tons of goods per year by 2030. This is not just an infrastructure project. It is also a link between our three countries, the DRC, Zambia, and Angola. It is the symbol of our collective will to convert the potential of our countries into a tangible prosperity for our peoples by fostering a harmonious interdependence between our countries where our economies can blossom. For the DRC, the Lobito Corridor is a strategic opportunity to make sure that we get value out of our natural resources, mostly copper and cobalt, because this makes up to 70% of the global demand for the current energy transition. With a combined production of 3 million tons a year between DRC and Zambia, this project will significantly reduce the logistics cost, as well as it will improve and increase our export revenues. This is a unique opportunity to access the global markets through the port of Lobito. And this gives us a strategic alternative to the other exportation corridors. With its 1,739 kilometers, this railroad is connected to our roads and other rails, and it will play an important role in regional integration and continental integration. The human impact is potentially enormous. It will catalyze the creation of about 30,000 jobs, direct and indirect, and it will reduce poverty and foster exchanges within Africa in line with Agenda 2063 of the AU. Today, transit can take up to 30 days or more, and it will be down to 10 days. This will increase our competitiveness on the international market. This is not just a logistical project, but it is a driving force for economic and social transformation for millions of our people. The DRC is fully committed to this project. As such, we have implemented a number of concrete actions in order to modernize our rail, road, and port infrastructures. We are trying to establish fluid and strategic connections between our main mining sites like Kolwezi and Likasi and the rail corridor. The rail corridor. In parallel, we've put local transformation or processing of our natural resources at the heart of our economic strategy. It is imperative that the wealth contained in our ground contribute directly to the well-being of our peoples. This means that we need to develop industrial value chains locally so we can add value before we export. Inga 3, our project, as well as other renewable energy projects, are essential to provide reliable energy supply that is sustainable and adapted to the demands of our expanding industry. These efforts will make our investments more competitive, and we will be able to respect our environmental commitments. Also, we will continue to strengthen the legal framework and the institutional framework to foster private investments and to guarantee transparency and good governance. These remain utmost priorities to foster a climate of trust and to make sure that our partnerships are win-win partnerships. However, to fully realize the potential of the Lobito Corridor, peace and security in the region remain paramount. We would like to thank Angola for its determining role in the Luanda process, and we reaffirm our engagement to working for a definitive return to peace in the east of our country. And security will be the bedrock of any sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank our international partners, including the United States of America, for their technical and financial support through strategic initiatives like Power Africa and PGI. This support is a testimony to the geostrategic importance of the Lobito Corridor in the global supply chains and the potential for it to be a catalyst for development. In order to seize this opportunity and to invest in development of rail, energy, and port infrastructures, we will need investments. This will help make this sustainable. The Lobito Corridor is surely an element that can be leveraged for growth. It is a model for regional integration, and it is a shared source of prosperity. I believe firmly that thanks to our cooperation and our determination, this project will go beyond expectations and will change the trajectory of our region for good. The DRC stands ready to play its role in this. With our brothers and sisters in the region, we will move forward with this common vision, joint vision, and unfailing will to have a better future for our people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. President and everyone, my name is Amos Hoxie, and I'm a senior advisor to President Biden. It's an honor to be here with all of you. I want to open first by saying thank you to Nelson Carino and the staff of this facility for opening it up for this event and providing the tour and the facilities for this discussion this afternoon. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our host and our leading partner, President Lorenzo. Mr. President.
Now I got you. Yeah. We're doing this because he's not there.
Sua Excelência.
Your Excellency Joe Biden, President of the United States of America, Your Excellency Felix Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Your Excellency Kalindo Chilema of the Republic of Zambia,
Philip Pango, Vice-President da República.
Your Excellency Philip Pango, Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania, distinguished members of the U.S. Congress, distinguished members of delegations, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to greet you with great satisfaction for hosting you at the city of Benguela, on which the attention of all Angolans is focused that are happy with the presence of your excellencies in our country and recognize the importance of this summit for integral development of our continent and the interconnection of this project with the rest of the world. I'd like to thank President Joe Biden, President Tshisekedi, President Hakainde Hichilema, and President Pango for having attended this event. That will be a historical milestone of international trade and logistic chains. Angola lives in a situation of peace and stability and is committed to keeping up its commitment with international partners, both at institutional level and with investors that have chosen our country as destiny for their businesses. It is important to mention the strategic importance of Lobito Corridor with Lobito Port and the Benguela Railway in the 1970s was one of the most profitable rails worldwide by transporting 3.3 million tons of cargo per year. We are expecting to optimize this important infrastructure as an integral part of an international and transcontinental route that is able to connect the Atlantic to the Indian Ocean and therefore connect safely the European, African, Asian continents with gains in terms of transportation and cost of maritime and rail freight. Lobito Corridor has strategic importance given the contribution that it will give to dynamizing intra-African trade within the context of the African Continental Free Trade Area as well as the global trade in general. Excellencies, with the presence of the highest level from our partners of DRC and Zambia, we signed in June 2023 contract of concession of Lobito Corridor to a private consortium made up by recognized companies. I would like to highlight the holding of U.S. Africa Leaders Summit in December 2022 in December 2023 in Washington, D.C., whereby Biden administration showed its commitment in the construction of infrastructure in Africa that has been implemented through Lobito Corridor through the joint declaration US-EU that was made public in the margin on the event on global partnership and in infrastructure during the G20 summit held in India in 2023. This will be a linchpin for the economic development that will provide the participation of small and medium enterprise in the business value chain, mainly in agriculture, industry, and mining, in order to increase trade and economic growth of SADC region and the Eastern African region. Aware that the political commitment of all engaged people in materialization of this big project is a milestone. It's important that the African countries involved, the consortium and the sponsors should promote activities needed in order to materialize this important project that will positively impact the maritime and rail transport in international trade, as well energy transition and safety, food safety, and in general in the global economy. Thank you for your attention and I wish you fruitful deliberations.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's now my honor to introduce President Biden, who set the vision for this corridor during the Africa Leaders Summit and implementing it ever since. Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much for your hospitality. Fellow leaders and friends, I can't think of a better way to end my trip to Angola than coming here to the Lobito Corridor. And I want to thank all of you for being here today, including the President of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Zambia, Tanzania, and our partner, the CEO of the American Finance Corporation. It's great to be here with all of you, and I mean that sincerely. I think we're at one of those transition points in world history, where what we do in the next several years is going to affect what the next 6, 7, 8 decades looks like. And I think this is one of those milestones. Our partner, the CEO of the American Finance Corporation, is going to take care of everything for us. Nothing to worry about. But all kidding aside, it's great to be with you all. When I launched this project with our G7 partners last year, I said our goal was to build a better future. And folks, the future is here. It's now. The future is here. The fact is, I wish everyone could see what I saw today. Tracks that will form Africa's first intercontinental railroad, transcontinental railroad. A rail car that will cut travel from days to hours. And the grain silos that are going to help transform the region from food importers to food exporters. Businesses that are investing across the corridor in 5G, solar panels, steel bridges, made near my hometown back in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And I want to be clear about something. All these projects and investments are designed to have high impact and meet the highest standards for workers, for the environment, and for the communities. Because the United States understands how we invest in Africa is just as important as how much we invest in Africa. That's what the PGI is part of, which is I started a program early on calling Build Back Better, but we've changed it to PGI. And that's why today I'm proud to announce the United States will invest nearly $600 million in additional investment to expand agriculture infrastructure, to build high-speed mobile networks, and to continue upgrading the Libido Atlantic Railway. A few months ago, the DRC sent the first copper shipment on this railway for transit onward to the United States. The trip used to take 45 days to get to the United States from that. But now it takes less than 45 hours. 45 hours because of the changes you've made. It's a game changer. Imagine how transformative this will be for technology, clean energy, for farming, for food security as a whole. It's faster, it's cleaner, it's cheaper, and most importantly, I think, it's just plain common sense. So my message today is simple. Let's keep it up. All told, the United States has invested nearly $4 billion across the length of the Libido corridor. But we're not alone. Collectively, this group mobilized over $6 billion in private and public investments. But these aren't just investments in the region. They're investments in all of our futures, no matter where you are in the world. Think about it. Critical minerals our world needs for electric vehicles and semiconductors can be found here. Clean energy we need to power artificial intelligence data centers and economic growth can be built here. Food we need to end hunger can be grown and transported and exported from all across this corridor. Put simply, as all of you know well, nations across the Libido corridor have solutions to some of the world's toughest problems. We just need to keep working together, and I believe this from the bottom of my heart, that we work together to mobilize more capital, to build more infrastructure, to help make these solutions real, to help Africa lead the way. I've said to these guys and my colleagues here for a while, the last 2 days, you know, by 2070, the continent of Africa is going to have half the world's population. How can that survive without having the greatest infrastructure in the world? It has to happen. To help Africa lead the way, we need more capital, more infrastructure to deal with these real solutions. That's why we're here today. I want to make sure I get to hear from all of you. So let me close with this. When we talk about the PGI, we often talk about the big picture. Investment numbers, rising exports, national prosperity. But it's important to remember, at its core, what we're doing is about our people. I mean, simple about individuals, about our people. That's what this is about. And it's about the farmer who can get more food on more tables because of what we're doing. The worker who can count on a living wage and safe working conditions. The entrepreneur who is finally empowered to lead, innovate, and build. It matters. It matters. So thank you again for being here today and allowing me to be here. And let's get started getting this done. Back to you, Amos.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next, we'll turn to President Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the largest deposits of copper and cobalt that are now going to be switching direction on this corridor. So would be grateful to hear your reflections on how this is proceeding and what we need to do in the future for the DRC. Shalima of Zambia. 2 years ago, during Vice President Harris's visit to Zambia, you helped literally draw the map and the line for the Greenfield project for the newest part of Phase 2 for the Lobito Corridor Rail. We're very happy that you're here to be able to share some thoughts on how this could really be transformational for Zambia. Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Amos, moderator. Let me just recognize President Biden and President Lorenzo, our host. Thank you for hosting us. President Tshisekedi, our neighbor, regional partner. Vice President Pango, recognize you. Chief Executive, AFC, my dear friend here, and Chief Executive Kobot, our partner in Zambia, and also the CEO, American Corporation. Amos, first, it's my duty really on behalf of the people of Zambia to appreciate this initiative, the Lobito Corridor, to thank President Biden for his effort, his government, American people, for the recognition of the importance of this corridor, and obviously the origination being in Angola here, through DRC, through Zambia, the map that we drew in my dingy office in Lusaka when Amos visited, and through that connection from Angola, which we believe will be Luau, into Kanongesha, on to Chingola, and then connecting that, very important, connecting that to the Tazara corridor, which will really mean that we can connect our continent, this part of Africa, from the west coast in Lobito here where we are, through DRC, Zambia, into Tanzania. It's a huge, huge opportunity, not just for Zambia, Angola, DRC, Tanzania. Happens that these countries are all SADC countries. It's good for SADC. It's good for individual countries. It's good for SADC. Not just that. It's good for Africa, the Africa Free Trade Area we are talking about, with the building blocks of our regional bodies, individual countries' regional bodies, SADC, East African Community, West African Community, the Africa Free Trade Area. We are envisaging this corridor is of vital importance to opening up our countries, to opening up our regions, the continent, and truly the global economy. The US, yes, Europe, other parts of the global community, if I may say that. So I am aware that at this stage, not many will see what we are discussing today and how valuable it will be 10 years down the road. But this is really of fundamental, if you like, change to our countries, to our economies, to our people. I must say that this project is a huge opportunity for investment, for trade. We're talking about the rail infrastructure, but also auxiliary infrastructure, the roads that would feed into this corridor. The opportunities for us to invest in the critical minerals, to apply our technology, the global technology, capital, of course, as President Biden said, but the technologies to exploit the resource endowments in our countries to start with, in critical minerals, to make our global economy greener, safer for us, for the future generations, so we can pass on a world that is able to raise children in a healthier environment, because the air will be reasonably cleaner than what it is today. And the resource endowments that we have, that we can exploit through this corridor in an efficient way, a way that will shorten the distances. Connect, yes, but shorten the distances to trade, to invest, to trade. It is extremely, very, very, very important. But also, I want to indicate that here, it's not just the rail infrastructure, it's not just the critical minerals, it's also the opportunities to invest in energy, energy itself, diversification of our energy portfolios in these countries, in our regions, on our continent, which yet again will contribute to a greener world, to meet our carbon emissions targets, which we simply talk about every COP 25, 27, to whatever. I think this is walking the talk, in our view. Solar, geothermal, wind, and others. This project will make it an imperative for us to invest in the energy that is required to exploit the critical minerals. We need energy to mine. What else? Agriculture. Very important. Food security. In our countries, with the climate change, the need for us to water harvest, to irrigate, precision irrigation, to increase our productivity per hectare of land we have, so we don't cut more trees to create fields, but for the same hectare, instead of producing, I'd say, corn, 2 tons per hectare, we can move to 12, 13, 14, 15 tons per hectare. This corridor delivers benefits in those areas. I can go on, but let me just encapsulate it this way. This opportunity really will deliver efficiencies. This project, this opportunity, will deliver growth in our individual economies, on our continent, contribute to global growth, positive growth, cleaner growth, jobs, food security. I already said green economies. What else? Business opportunities. We've taken around, first, just the place where we are here. Look at this facility. This facility now, and I'm very enthused, where is my colleague there? I think that family is doing a great job. This is what Africa needs. Our young people go out to study. They choose to come back home. They choose to invest here, working with the global capital, working with global technological advancements. This facility will now be able not just to take in raw materials from the its outgrowers in a scheme, small-scale farmers, having input supply to them, having an off-take, assured market, a fair price, improves their lives. This is great, but also be able to export beyond Angola and beyond Africa. This is what Africa needs today. It also is important for treasury income. I don't have to ask the question, my president here, how much this business contributes to Angola's treasury income, which is essential for Angola and for our economies to look after the weak, the sick, the old, the young in our communities. And this is the connection, President Biden, that we see. Your initiative, our collective effort, AFC here, COBROD here. It just took a visit. One of the times